CBS America Tonight. American troops in the desert. Not just digging in, building in. How long does it have to last? Is this the most dangerous job in America?
The danger is kind of exciting. It's like a crapshoot.
And how do you tell people 10,000 years from now not to dig here? From CBS News, this is America Tonight Friday with Robert Krulwich and Edie Magnus.
Good evening. President Bush is due back in Washington early Saturday morning, wrapping up his trip to the Middle East and a controversial visit today with Syria's President Assad. Assad told the president he agrees Iraq should get out of Kuwait, but that he opposes using force. The UN Security Council next week could consider a resolution authorizing force against Iraq. For his part, Mr. Bush said today, quote, "We have the authority to do what we have to do."
In Saudi Arabia, the soldiers of Desert Shield continue digging in. But along with digging, there is sawing and hammering and drilling. Soldiers are doing more than just hunkering down for the long haul. As Bob Simon tells us, they are building a city in the sand.
After 40 days and 40 nights of wandering on patrol near the Kuwaiti border, men of the 4th Cavalry Regiment parked their cars, pitched their tents, and began settling down in the sands of Saudi Arabia.
How'd you doing before me?
They built a base camp and gave it a name. It is not the first time nomads have made a home in the desert.
We've been like the, what you call the lost tribe of Israel running around the desert. Now we're home.
All over Saudi Arabia, Americans are drawing new lines in the sand, lines Americans can understand. The Marines, the first ground troops to land on these shores, are not digging in anymore. They are constructing, building a city and furnishing it. Everything custom made.
Right. Outstanding. We didn't have much of nothing when we first got here at first, but as the longer we stay here, the better things get for us.
Like any hometown in America, there are streets with street signs, a fire department, a post office, a phone booth, and a barber shop where the proprietor decides what kind of haircut you want and backs up his decision with a razor, a comb, and a 45.
This is the finished cut of the barber shop out here.
Don't talk about chow anymore. Dinner is catered by the United States Marine Corps, dining al fresco at the outdoor cafe. Call it the Sands. And with 250,000 Iraqi troops poised across the border, what's the biggest problem facing the Marines?
The most difficult problems that we do have are just the normal, everyday piling up of trash.
Home is where your porch is, where you can put your feet up and watch the neighborhood pass by. Home is where you can cook up a little snack between meals.
What we have here is a little bit of chili, some ramen noodles, and a little bit of hot sauce. Let me give you a hand. I would never have eaten this in the States. But, you know, now it's just it's just normal, yeah. Everything's normal to us. It's hard to see what's abnormal anymore.
Home is where you make plans.
We're in the process of making some wells, drilling for water, going down about 1,000 feet or so, and hopefully we won't strike oil.
Ask the Bedouins. You don't dig wells unless you're planning to hang around. Some comforts of home are still missing. Air conditioning, for example. The Air Force has air conditioning, and it has it better. The Air Force has everything better.
We have a little library over here for both education and enjoyment reading, the golf course, bowling center, recreation center, fitness center, etc., etc.
And a movie house, and a supermarket, and a basketball court is on the way. All that, and feeling at home, which means wearing what you want to wear, which in the desert means not wearing very much at all, even with peeping mosques in the neighborhood. It looks like a beach party sometimes. The Gulf War is a T-shirt now, several T-shirts and a video game. And it all started with nothing.
There was not much here except some blowing dust.
What the GIs brought here is America. It's that simple. They brought American music, American culture to this strict and somber land, the same way their fathers and their brothers brought it to Europe and to Asia. American joy. there is a sobering thought that some of these men, dancing in the dunes, may not make it home from the home they've built in the desert, and the made-in-America metropolis they brought with them may prove as permanent as the desert wind, as enduring as castles in the sand.
Now from Saudi Arabia live, good morning. Here is Bob Simon. How are you? I want to ask you.
Just fine.
I want to ask you a question that strikes me right off that piece. The America that you described, this little America that they're building in the desert, seems to me so fragile, such a thing that could just blow away. I'm wondering, how long can these guys hold morale together in this fashion?
When you look at these American tents, you think back on the Crusader castles that were built here forever, and they didn't last very long. I think that the American empire here is going to peak within the next few months, and if something isn't done with it, if it does not swing into some kind of action, it will begin to deteriorate. I think this is realized here. Morale cannot be maintained at an operative pitch forever. Napoleon said that you can do everything with a sword except sit on it. In about a month from now, the forces here will be at their peak. They will either move or they'll begin to lose their edge.
Bob, as you know, President Bush has, in a sense, raised the stakes a little bit. He said yesterday he thinks that Saddam Hussein is soon going to have a nuclear weapon. What's been the reaction there?
Well, I don't know if there's been any reaction here. People here don't get the news very quickly, but one reaction is this, that it's the first time he raised this issue. He raised it a couple of days after polls in the United States showed that this was by far the only issue that made any sense to many Americans. And it might have been raised, therefore, in a political sense, but at the same time, now that he, the President of the United States, has said it, it will be very difficult for him, if and when the military swings into action here, not to go for Iraq's nuclear potential. All of a sudden, we have another target on the map. We always assumed that the target was a potential one, but now it has to be considered a very real one. There are two dynamics working here, and they're working in opposite directions, and it's very difficult to even imagine how it's going to work out. You have the military dynamic, which is pushing towards action. After the end of February, the weather deteriorates, the Muslim holy days are around the corner, something should happen. The military almost will want to move. There is a logic of its own. At the same time, the politics in the States is moving the other way. President Bush seems to be losing support for any kind of offensive action, and how these two dynamics will resolve is very difficult to ascertain at this point.
Bob Simon, thank you very much for joining us.
And when we come back, behind the wheel with some of the Big Apple's biggest crime targets, and an ad man's nightmare, making sure people understand you 10,000 years from now.
This portion of America Tonight Friday is sponsored by Alcoa, reminding you to recycle your aluminum beverage and food cans.
One of the problems of living in the land of plenty is that there's plenty left over that must be burned or buried or dumped at sea. An exception is the recyclable aluminum can. Today, over half the aluminum cans produced are being recycled. No other beverage container comes close to that record. Not glass, not plastic, and not steel. The recyclable aluminum can. In the land of plenty, it's a notable exception.
They're at your Christmas store. Sears, great-looking flannel shirts. What makes them even more comfortable? They're on sale now. Select flannel shirts as low as $11.24. Reduced 25%. Only at Sears for Christmas.
My brother Tom needed one hand for his TV remote, one for his VCR, the other for my cable. Then he got this Magnavox Universal Remote. It's so smart, it controls the TV it came with, plus just about any other brand of wireless VCR and cable. Yeah, single-handed.
Tell Nuprin where it hurts.
It hurts behind my eyes. Right here.
Nuprin works at the site of pain, right at the spot. It helps stop the chemical reaction that triggers pain.
Headache? What headache?
Tell Nuprin where it hurts.
I overdid it. Pain's right in the small of my back.
Nuprin works at the site of pain. It has ibuprofen. It actually works right at the spot, right where you need it.
Pain's gone. Back feels great.
Tell Nuprin where it hurts.
How do you have a meeting in lots of places at the same time? Well, Sprint has operators who can quickly and easily arrange a call with up to 100 locations. Sprint also has the world's most extensive video conferencing system.
There's probably a center near you. So there's no limit to how many meetings you can have. Is that good news?
He's entered a dangerous new world. Guys die doing this all the time. But the people he left behind could pay the price.
They have threatened your life.
Wise Guy, Saturday.
Sunday, it's a celebration of 3 decades of Motown artistry, featuring superstars Smokey Robinson, Natalie Cole, Whoopi Goldberg, The Temptations, Denzel Washington, The Four Tops, Patti LaBelle, Stevie Wonder, Michael Bolton, and Gladys Knight. Plus, some classic moments. You've got to be there. Motown 30, what's going on Sunday?
If you are coming to New York City this holiday season, chances are good you'll end up in the back seat of an infamous yellow cab. They're about the surest way to get around Manhattan. If you're in another borough, chances are just as good you won't find a yellow cab anywhere in sight. You'll probably have to rely on what New Yorkers call gypsy cabs. The gypsy cab has achieved its own notoriety, but for very different and frightening reasons.
I don't take gypsy cabs. I like yellow cabs. I can trust them.
Some of them don't have a license to pick people up. That's why you call them gypsies.
Oh, definitely the yellows. We're from Minnesota. We've never driven in a gypsy cab.
This is what a gypsy cab looks like.
Tito, T-I-T-O is his name.
Yes.
And this is a gypsy cab driver, one of 30 shot dead on the streets of New York City this year. They are some 5,000 strong, and in some neighborhoods, they're the only transportation around. They service the poor, but for a violent few, they are like small, unguarded banks just waiting to be knocked off. Those who drive them may just have the most dangerous jobs in America.
41, Vital 1, Howell. The danger is kind of exciting, you know. It's like a crapshoot, you know. I mean, 7 or snake eye. I'm always betting, of course, that I'll get a 7.
49-year-old Melvin Callahan drives 12 hours a day for Thruway, a small taxi company that just a few months ago saw one of Melvin's co-workers murdered. Days are spent responding to radio calls and searching the sidewalks for a paying fare. On a good day, he earns about $100. Melvin's been robbed 2 times, but keeps on driving. He needs the money, and the people who live uptown need him.
You're going to find a yellow cab in the Bronx. Ain't too easy to find a yellow cab in the Bronx. Manhattan, you get a yellow cab. We're like the vagabonds of their industry, not ours, theirs. You know, they think that we take money away from them, which we don't. We pick up the fares that they don't want. You know, I mean, at 3 o'clock in the morning, the guy jumps in your cab and says, take me to Holland. They don't want that. They don't want to come at all. You know, somebody has to bring them.
The Autobahn car service is in the heart of a Manhattan neighborhood that has been taken over by crack dealers. Drivers here have been murdered for as little as $25.
The guy put it to me, nice here, and he said, yo, don't move, give me your radio, give me your money.
Just a few days ago, this driver had a knife put to his throat. Violence is a day-to-day reality here. It's something even the children understand. And 13-year-old Jimmy Arejo also understands the underlying racism that somehow designates yellow cabs for white people.
I take gypsy cabs. The yellow cabs, they think that the Spanish people won't pay and things like that. They selfish. They want everything for them.
Melvin Callahan says he only avoids passengers who have what he calls a gangster walk or whose clothing smells of drugs. But he says if he didn't take a few chances, his family's future would suffer.
My granddaughter, and of course I'd like to, you know, help her and my daughter so she can go to school, college, and everything like that.
I go to school.
You know,
with my friends.
to help her, you know, help the family. This is all part of what I do it for. This little one right here.
So, despite the murders, this driver has no intention of abandoning his gypsy cab. Melvin Callahan has a ready answer for anyone who suggests he should move out of New York City.
Everybody has to work to make a living. You know, I mean, out there, maybe a farmer gets caught in a thresher. You don't say, why don't you stop farming? You just work at what you do and keep on. And hope it don't happen to you.
Eat your cereal, it's healthy. Open wide.
That's it. I've had it with these healthy, schmelthy tasting cereals. I want a cereal that tastes so good. You want to eat it. Your mini wheats.
Dad, these are good for you.
I don't want to hear that.
No salt, no cholesterol, fat-free.
I can't hear you. Sorry, wrong number.
Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats. Surprise, they're good for you.
Got lots of fiber, too.
I didn't hear that. I heard that.
They're at your Christmas store. Sears. Top brand electronics like this 41-inch LXI TV with remote and MTS stereo surround sound. Save $100. Only at Sears Brand Central. For Christmas.
Yeah, I'll call you back.
When the diagnosis is minor sore throat pain, the physician's desk reference lists maximum strength Sucrets for soothing anesthetic relief.
Feels better.
Sucrets, soothing medicine for sore throat pain.
The U.S. and Iraq raised the military stakes in the Persian Gulf. Hundreds of thousands of GIs wait in the desert for marching orders, while the president pursues UN backing for a shooting war. Is a peaceful settlement possible? Watch Iraq's Foreign Minister Aziz and U.S. Defense Secretary Cheney face the nation with Leslie Stahl Sunday.
How would you like to be in his shoes? He witnessed a murder, but if he goes to the police, the murderer will murder him. What would you do? Probably what he did. 60 Minutes, Sunday.
America Tonight will continue.
United Buy and Sell Furniture Warehouse is on the move. Seattle, Tacoma, and now Linwood.
The no frills, no gimmicks furniture warehouse operation is here.
Brand name furniture and mattresses for less, a lot less. Prices as little as 1/2 regular stores.
Yes, up to 1/2. That's why we're expanding so quickly.
United Buy and Sell Furniture Warehouse.
Seattle, Tacoma, and now open in Linwood.
Frederick & Nelson's 3-day fur sale. Full-length mink coats and mink strollers. Now just $14.99. At the 3-day fur sale. Friday through Sunday only. Simply irresistible. Simply Frederick & Nelson.
Hi, I'm Chip Hanauer, and I'd like you to join us for the Seafair Special People's Christmas Cruise on Sunday, December 2nd. Call Seafair to register. 728-0123.
This news break is brought to you by Czech Medical Centers, now located in Federal Way. You're watching KIRO TV, Channel 7, your 24-hour news source.
It's 12:09. I'm Mary Farrell. A mudslide near Silverdale threatens to grow worse tonight. Already 40 families have been evacuated. Evacuations, too, in Mason County, where heavy rains have broken a dike on the Skokomish River, and one man is dead after a steam boiler explosion on the Seattle waterfront. That's the latest news. Next news in 1 hour from KIRO, your 24-hour news source.
Tell you about one of the most difficult design problems I've ever heard of. The U.S. Department of Energy has a radioactive waste dump which they are digging right now. It's on a spread of land in a remote part of the New Mexican desert. Using giant machines, government engineers are creating floor after floor of storage space where they will put thousands of barrels of radioactive waste, some containing plutonium, which can last for a very long time. Now, a regulation issued by the Environmental Protection Agency says the site must be marked with words or pictures, a design that will tell people 10,000 years from now that this site is dangerous.
10,000 years. What kind of a message could you create that would tell people 10,000 years into the future about this problem and be intelligible
This
to
is the
them?
difficult part. You have to say, you know, don't dig here or you could die. That's the problem. The Energy Department has paid $60,000 to a defense contractor for some startup ideas, which I took to one of the best little design firms in New York City, M & Company, run by Tibor Kalman. He's a sharp guy, and I asked him, how would you solve this problem, and can you do better than the defense contractor? This here is Tibor Kalman. Let me show you right away the designs that the United States of America came up with, at great expense, by the way. Here is the first logo. This should say, danger at this site, beware 10,000 years from today. What do you think?
Well, I think the government hasn't spent its money too well. What I see is I see a man digging. I see this angled line over here. I don't know exactly what that means. Maybe there's a change in the polarity of the Earth.
No, it's the gun sight. It's the international driver sign for no.
Yes, but we're assuming that 10,000 years from now people will be driving. I'm not sure they will be.
All right.
And
how about these terribly dangerous-looking items down here?
They look kind of, I mean, out of context, they kind of look to me like pretty little flowers that I might actually want to dig up.
You don't recognize the trefoil, the internationally accepted symbol for radioactivity found at every fallout shelter?
It's accepted in every international sense except the sense of 10,000 years passing, which I think is the fundamental problem that needs to be addressed here.
Number 2. This is the rest of the $60,000 investment. Of course, you recognize immediately the international